Hello, my beautiful, beautiful friends. Today is a bit of a switch up. We are doing a reading today about what our goddess what Goddess Hekate would like to this is a collective reading for Goddess Hekate and what messages that she has for the collective. Every time, okay, so since I've been working with Goddess Hekate, every reading that I have with her is always like spot on. Like, it's not spot on, but it's always very to the point. Like, she doesn't waste much time. Like, she gets to the point and says what she has to say, or say what she has to say. And it's always every message that I get from her is always about healing. If I'm not taking care of myself and doing my healing work, she's on my ass. Like, so I wanted to see what message that she has for you guys, and it seems like it's on the same kind of path too. It seems like this is healing that is being called out right now. So yeah, let's get into this reading. I'm excited. This is very this is different. I was thinking about it today because I kept seeing a lot of deer and I kept seeing 333. So I was like, ooh, Goddess Hekate wants to do like she wants to do a tarot reading. But then I was like, ooh, what if she wants to do one for the collective? So here we are. But let's get into it. Let's go over your oracle cards first. We are doing the oracle cards from the Cosmos Oracle, and then our tarot cards are from the Tarot of the Divine. Yeah, they've already been shuffled and pulled, so let's get into our spread for the day. I had to wait until nighttime to do this because she is the goddess of the night, so I had to wait until we were within her element. But okay, so for our first card, we have the water element. And then we have the contraction card. That's what I'm saying, like with Hekate, Goddess Hekate, it's always about coming inward, like, and I think, and that's where you see the growth. But we also have the compassion card, emotional intelligence. When I first, this is the card that came out first, the water element card, and I was like, oh, she wants to talk about emotional healing right now. She wants to talk about, yeah, I first thought emotional healing, but then let's keep going actually. So we have the mystic card. I don't know if I showed you guys that one. Intuitive knowledge, origin. This is about root conditioning right here. So then I was like, okay, yeah, she wants to talk about root conditioning and healing those emotions from our childhood. And then we have the seeker, and then we have the letting go oracle card. So for our tarot cards, we have the Ace of Swords, the Nine of Wands, the Ten of Coins. We have the Five of Wands in reverse. Oh, my ear started ringing when I said that one, the Five of Wands. The Nine of Swords, Eight of Wands. We have Page of Cups, the Tower, and then we also have Two of Coins. Okay, I really want to get into this reading. So, from the spread that we have so far, what Goddess Hekate is saying to the collective is that there is emotional healing that needs to be done, childhood wounds that need some clearing out of, because we have this letting go and detachment and purification. She wants, or she's saying, like, it's time for this healing to begin, so you can purify it from your system, because we also have this Ten of Coins, and Ten of Coins is about inheritance, and it's about the family line. So letting go and purifying yourself from these old family wounds or old root conditioning wounds will help with your ancestor, or with your with your generational lines to come. So this is going to allow for generational healing. And with this water element card, the water element is emotion, intuition, and imam koelai. And when you're coming, how do I want to say this? Let's think. Okay, so when you're in your root conditioning, like in the natural state of your root conditioning, there's a lot of intuition that you can block out in that time. And because you're mostly, at least for me, I remember like when I'm in my when I'm in some of my root conditioning patterns, I'm very blocked off into it. I'm very blocked off from my intuitive body, and I'm in that, fight or flight state. And so this reading is about getting to the root, and it's about, forgiving yourself and forgiving, sorry, let's get into, I wanted to say with this letting go card and surrendering. It's surrendering or detaching from that past self, like, because once you get to a certain point and you start realizing, oh, it's time to heal, it's because you start realizing that this old root conditioning, these patterns that you used to have, that these are patterns that you built as a child to help protect yourself from any situations, or that allowed you to, these are patterns that we made as a child to help us survive. So at the end of this, this detachment, it's about cutting those cords, but healing them, and then cutting those cords because they're no longer servicing us anymore. And on this water element card, this is emotion, intuition, and imam koelai. So the imam koelai is about those ancestral roots. It's about it's those ancestral roots. It is the root conditioning, So she's saying to come inward. This is the contraction. Contraction is about coming inward and noticing those patterns in yourself, and noticing where these patterns aren't servicing you anymore. If you, at least for me, one of my, what's it called? One of my patterns that I had for protecting myself through my fight or flight responses was maladaptive daydream. That's something that I picked up as a kid. And at some point, I think it was this year or last year, I think it was this year, I started noticing with myself, I was like, oh, this is not servicing me anymore. Like, I don't think this is something that I need anymore to make me feel safe. So what wounds or what patterns do you hold within yourself that you are holding on to keep you safe now, or to make you feel safe still? And in what ways are these no longer servicing you? Because we have this Tower card, and subconsciously or consciously, you have been feeling that there needs to be a change that needs to happen. There, we have the Tower card itself is about, it's about massive change that has to happen. And the thing is, like, this massive change that will happen with you with the healing of your own emotions and healing of your root conditioning, it's going to bring a whole new experience for you. And the wisdom that you will have after is crazy. Like, we have this Seeker card. The Seeker card is the Sagittarius energy. It's about wisdom, evolution, and new experiences. So it's about breaking free from these old experiences and seeking new experiences, seeking new ways of healing that will help you break free from this old conditioning that is no longer servicing you anymore. So but of course the a compassion card came out. So it's all during this time, like healing root conditioning, healing these old wounds. It's so deeply rooted in us. So during this time, it's very important to be compassionate to yourself. It's going to be a lot of, it's not going to be linear or it's not going to be just linear the whole time. It's not going to be going up, you know, there's going to be down points. There's going to be parts where, you're going through the cycle and you get triggered and then you fall into that old pattern again. And that's okay, because there's going to be an awareness about it now. So you're going to be able to see where you're like, oh dang, that triggered me and I acted this way. Have compassion for yourself in that moment, and then next time you're going to remember, oh, when this happened and I fell into that, root conditioning, this is how I felt after. And you're going to have a new sense of awareness now. And it's important. Yeah, I think it's important to be compassionate to yourself within this within this healing, because it makes the healing process a lot smoother. And I know it's going to be hard to have those compassionate moments to yourself when you're healing and you're like, well, I should be acting better now because I'm aware now. But that's all that you need, is that awareness. Once you have awareness, there is growth. Like, awareness causes growth. So like I always think about the fact that literally just a drop of awareness in your life will change your life for forever. Like, you will never be able to see things the same. So once you have that drop of awareness towards this emotional healing, that itself is going to cause growth constantly within your healing. Even for points where you feel like it's a downfall and you're like, damn, like I got triggered and I acted this way. That's awareness. That's growth right there. So be compassionate to yourself then, because you are healing. You are in a vulnerable space in general, but you're healing. So be compassionate to yourself during that time. This compassion card is about loving kindness, tenderness, and tolerance. So yes, be very kind to yourself throughout this time, because this is a rebirth. The mystic is about emotional intelligence too. And with this awareness that you'll have now, and the compassion for yourself is going to allow for this emotional intelligence. You'll be able, at this point, like, there's going to be a point. I love how this card came out in the middle, because this is like your in-between stage, of you've gained enough knowledge within your healing now, and now you're this mystic. Now you have this emotional intelligence, where before you felt like you did not have control of your emotions, and you couldn't trust yourself, trust your intuition. Now you're this mystic. You've gone through this rebirth, and or you'll go through this rebirth, and the way you are able to express your emotions will be a lot different now. There's going to be that pause now. Instead of just reacting, you're going to be like, well, let me reflect first. If people are like, if you guys ever heard the saying, or I don't even know if it's saying, but where they're saying like, you have to, okay, imagine, gosh, I don't know why I'm getting spacey right now, sorry, but imagine emotions like water, right? So emotions are water itself, but because that's why we have this water card. So your emotions are water, and when you're angry, right, the water starts to boil. And when the water starts to boil, and you can't see your reflection anymore in the water once the water starts to boil. And that's the waiting, or once that water starts to boil and you can't see your reflection anymore, like as in you being triggered, that means it needs to be a reflection period. You need to wait for the water to simmer and cool down until the water is still again and you can see your reflection. Then you can, then you're coming from a whole nother place, instead of, when you're coming from like the the boiling water, and the water's like, the water is bubbling and everything. There's that, it's that fire energy, it's that impulse to react, and you need to wait until you're at clearer waters, at more still waters, in that reflection period, and sit back. This is the contraction, you know, that's the contraction period. Let me come inward and reflect, instead of just pushing outward with this, with reaction, and with what's the word that I'm looking for, an impulse. Because emotional intelligence is about taking that second to reflect. It's about having that awareness of you, awareness within you. And let me give an example for how I've been trying to be more emotionally intelligent with myself, and within my healing process. Once, like, let's say, okay, when someone has said something to me, and now I'm feeling triggered, I'm getting defensive, like I feel myself getting defensive. Sometimes you can't always walk away from a situation, and if you can walk away from a situation so you can go reflect, go do that. But if you can't, this is my inward process of how I do it, like, or how I sit in it. There's the awareness, like, you have to, that's why I'm sorry if I'm like just jumping around everywhere. I have so much going on in my head that I want to get out. But the intuition right here intuition is so important when it comes to this emotional healing, because the intuition is you feeling yourself fully. You're feeling where the emotions are and where the emotions are coming from. So someone says something to me and now I'm triggered. I'm like, I can feel myself getting defensive. So that means that's me. Like, I take a second, I'm like, oh damn, I'm feeling triggered right now. Like, and then I'm in my head thinking, like, okay, why am I feeling triggered right now? Like, why, what did this person say to make me feel like I need to be on defense right now, to where I need to where I feel like I'm in like my fight response right now? Like, why do I feel that way? What did they say? And sometimes it's like me feeling like my boundaries weren't respected, or I felt like I wasn't being heard. So that's a trigger for me, is if I feel like I'm not being heard. So then I take a second, I'm like, okay, well, that's me feeling like I'm not being heard right now. How can I show up to this? How can I show up for myself right now? And how can I show up responsibly for the person in front of me too? And that's that emotional intelligence right there. It's taking that second to reflect. It's not just, the fire element where, maybe I should change this. Let me change this so I thought for a second if I should flip it before the video so I can have the water element showing instead. But it's taking that second to reflect and sit with yourself. And if you can leave the situation, if it's someone that's triggering you and you can go reflect on your own, that's perfect. And not saying that this is going to happen perfectly every time, because sometimes people trigger me and I'm like, oh, I just want to give it to them, like, so it's something that you have to be the student in. It definitely takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of sitting with yourself and understanding your own emotions. That's why it's important about this contraction period to come inward. And it's about your inner world, and it's about looking at your inner world fully. And maybe today would be a good day to write down, this is what makes me feel triggered, this is what makes me feel defensive. And I said this I was doing a tarot reading yesterday that's going to come out on Friday, or this is coming out next Friday. I don't know which one's coming out first, but maybe this won't come out first, whatever. But I was saying that I was walking up the stairs yesterday and I was thinking to myself, I was like, oh, I should just start using my notes app and writing down when someone triggers me. I should just write down every time someone triggers me, so I can look down and get to the root of that and be like, well, why was I feeling triggered in this moment? What was it that this person did? Or not even, like, maybe they didn't do anything, or maybe and I was just feeling, yeah, I don't know, sometimes it's other people and sometimes it's me. And yeah, it's coming into your inner world and seeing those aspects within yourself and looking at yourself fully. Because we also have this intuitive knowledge card. It's about going deep into this subconscious, sitting in your own subconscious waters and looking at yourself fully and seeing what comes up. And when you see what comes up, respond with compassion, because most of the time it's that inner child, the little kid that's in you, and she's feeling or she or he is feeling unsafe, and they want somebody to hold them, or they just want someone to let them know that, hey, you're being heard right now. I hear you. I understand you. I'll hold you through this, So with this intuitive knowledge card, it's about unconscious receptivity and synchronicity. I think receptivity is very important when it's going to come to this, gaining emotional intelligence, because you have to be receptive to your own body and the emotions that your body is giving off, because this intuitive knowledge is about being rooted in your truth and knowing that your truth is right too. When your body is feeling a certain way and you're giving off emotions, when you're in, okay, so for a long, I keep going back to me because this has been something that I've been working on a lot. Goddess Hekate has been on my ass about this emotional healing, and something that I had a hard time was my intuition. When before my emotional healing journey, my intuition was very off. Like, it was so off, and I couldn't trust if my emotions were true or not. Like, I was having a hard time figuring out, well, I understand, like, yeah, this was an emotion that was coming out of me, but I didn't know if it was right for me to feel that emotion. Like, I didn't know if someone did something that upset me, I was like, well, maybe I shouldn't be upset, or maybe maybe this is wrong for me to be upset when maybe I'm thinking too hard about it, and it's going against my own intuitive knowledge. And because, one, my feelings are valid, even if they aren't factual, it's valid because I'm feeling it, and it's going deep into my intuition and knowing, hey, it's okay, like, this is my feeling, so it's there for a reason, So yeah, it's being receptive to my own body and the emotions that I put out too. So okay, now we have this origin card, and in the origin card, she's digging up her roots and she's looking down the hole, and she's like, well, what was down there? What was the cause of this? And she's dug up the roots, and now she has the opportunity to plant something new. And once you plant something new, we have this secret card, and these are new experiences that you gain too. And it's because you also have this emotional intelligence now. So this is a lot of, shadow work that will have to be done. Maybe therapy, or 222 when I said that too. But therapy is also expensive, but there's a lot of great YouTubers out there that have been helping me through my healing journey, so I will definitely put those down below. If you are a person that deals with complex trauma, like from childhood, I will definitely put some videos down there, or down below in the description bar or description, so you guys can watch those, because they've been so helpful. And what's it called? Therapy is expensive. I understand that. So yeah, so okay, let's get back. Okay, and then this letting go card. There's a point where you have to, yes, okay, it's about detaching. You have to detach from that old self, and it can feel very scary to detach from that old self, even when you know that this old self isn't, or this the wounded self isn't of your highest good anymore, and you're not that child that needs that way of how do I want to say this, like, for my experience, like, I don't like the maladaptive or the daydreaming that I had as a kid was, you know, a mechanism that I used. But as an adult now, it's turned into maladaptive daydreaming, and it's something that I don't need anymore. And it's something that, you know, it was very hard to try to detach from, because there was that attachment there. It felt comfortable for me, and you know, it helped me when I was in a fight or flight response. And if I was ever feeling unsafe, I mean, I've always been a very anxious, a very anxious person. And because yeah, we have this Nine of Swords energy. The Nine of Swords is about anxiety, terror. Because let me read this story to you guys. I'm sorry, I'm getting off the track. I know I was talking about this, but let me finish what I was saying about this actually before I forget it. Yeah, there was that attachment there, because, you know, when I was feeling anxious, it made me feel safe. So it's about letting go from that and trying to create healthier responses now for yourself. Because this is also something that I've been trying to do a lot within my healing journey, and I've come to a lot of oh damn points, like damn, that's what I'm feeling right now. Like, the emotional intelligence and the awareness that you get when you go onto this journey is going to be so enlightening. And it just, like, it teaches you so much about yourself. But yikes, what the hell was I saying? I'm sorry, I'm getting spacey. Let's see, what was I saying? Whatever, we're gonna go to this Nine of Swords energy. For whoever watches my videos, how off-putting is it that I can't even that I can't even remember what I'm talking about half the time? Like, it's too much. Okay, so let me read this to you guys. The Nine of Swords represents decision-making controlled by anxiety. And that's what this is too, about making new decisions off of healthier habits now. Okay, I remember what I was saying. I gotta get this out before I forget it again. I've started to, you know, when I feel the need to get into that maladaptive daydreaming space again, I have to, like, sometimes I let it play for a second, because I want to know where it's going. And then I'm like, okay, so why did I what did I feel like I'm lacking? What do I feel like I'm lacking right now, to where that, you know, to where I feel like I need to go back into that space? And sometimes it's, you know, well, I'm feeling lonely, and or sometimes I'm like, well, I'm feeling anxious. So it's about understanding where you're coming from. Like, you know, nothing happens just because, like, everything is for a reason. So when you start getting into these habits again, take a second and reflect. It's about, you know, having that contraction period again and taking a second to reflect and being like, well, what does my body feel like it needs right now? What do I feel like I'm lacking right now? Am I feeling scared? Am I feeling abandoned? Am I feeling anxious? Like, what am I feeling right now? Like, or am I trying to avoid something right now? It's about that honesty too, like being receptive to what your body is actually telling you. So let's go back into this Nine of Swords. The Oracle of Delphi warns the king that his son, I'm not gonna say their name, that his son, someone's screaming outside. The Oracle of Delphi warns the king that his son will one day kill him. He did not let, or if he had not let his fears control him and raised his son with love instead of hate, the king's eventual death would have been avoided. I'm going to reread that because there's a lot of noise going outside and I'm getting distracted. The Oracle of Delphi warns the king that his son will one day kill him. Had he not let his fears control him and raised his son out of love instead of hate, the king's eventual death could have been avoided. Okay, so yes, that itself is the epitome of anxiety. He was so anxious that his son was going to one day turn against him that he raised his son out of hate. And since he raised his son out of hate, his son only learned hatred and then ended up killing him. But, you know, when it comes to an oracle tells you one side, but at any point you can always change your fate, right? And that's what it's like. That's what I'm feeling right now when it comes to this emotional healing and this root conditioning. You always have the choice to change your fate. It's, I mean, it's going to take, of course, commitment, of course, and it's going to be a lot of ups and downs, but you always have the choice to change your fate. That's why when people are like, oh, like, don't look too far into the future, or like, if you like went into the future, you can't change anything. Or no, if you went into the past, you can't change anything because that would totally change your future. You always, at any point, you can decide to go on a new trail. Like, you can always change something up. You just have to have that. With this journey, it's going to take a lot of determination, of course. But yeah, because also the Ace of Swords is about assertiveness, and it's also about new projects too. So I think this is the new project that she wants you to. This is the new project that she wants you to start. Is this inner healing journey? This getting to the roots of your root conditioning and pulling those roots out and observing them fully, and then planting something new. That's the new project that's there for you, and at the end of this will bring you new clarity. You'll find clarity throughout this. But yeah, this is assertiveness. You have to be assertive and determined throughout this. There's going to be a lot of ups and downs, and it's going to feel hard, but I hope that you guys... in my head, I was just thinking, I was like, I think it's going to be very important to embody that student energy within this journey and not trying to move too fast out of this journey. That's something that I struggle with a lot, is trying to leave the student energy too soon and feeling like I should be the master of something too soon. Like, and that's where I get in that energy with myself where I'm like, dang, I should know how to handle this situation better now because I've been doing this for so long. And then I'm like, Kaya, please, like, calm down. You haven't been healing for that long, all right? And even then, you have that awareness now to where you can see things differently. So it's about that compassion too while you're in that student journey, because at some point you're going to be this seeker that has all this wisdom, in the mystic, you know, that emotional intelligence. You're going to have so much wisdom now towards your own self and your emotions, and how to handle different experiences now, and how to create new experiences now. Okay, yeah, that's what I'm saying. You got to push through, because this Nine of Wands energy is also about resilience. This is about, you know, gathering strength after feeling such fatigue and persevering forward, through these wounds. And I'm not saying this is going to be easy at all, guys, because it's a hard ass fucking journey. Like, it's a journey that I think of the video that I made last week. Last week was a hard week for me, you know, on my healing journey. I had a lot of triggers with myself on my healing journey last week, and I had to keep coming back to myself and saying, like, this is only my now, like, and what my now is won't be my future. Like, I have the power to create this new future, and I have the power to keep pushing forward because it's my birthright to do so. It's my birthright to be able to heal these wounds that I have. And then it's perseverance and resilience of these wounds, because look, this is the Ten of Coins. The Ten of Coins is about that family, that about that inheritance and ancestry, and it's also about stability too. So there's going to be a lot of work here that you're doing, you're doing a lot of generational healing too. And I think your ancestors are going to be very, very proud of you. And that's why, you know, call upon them when you're doing this healing. Call upon your ancestors and your guides to help you through this healing. Archangel Raphael, Archangel Michael to cut any cords from the past. Archangel Raphael to help you with any healing blockages. You know, utilize the resources that you have. Because the Seeker card is about wisdom. You have this wisdom in you to persevere and to and to keep going. So in the times where you're feeling like things are hard, ask for assistance, ask your guides for assistance, ask your angels for assistance. That's what they're here for. They want you to speak to them. They want you to ask for help. If it's their job, they live for it. They love to help. So yeah, I feel like I talked about this Five of Coins, but the Five of Coins is about compromise, peace, harmony, resolution, and conflict avoidance. If this is something that you've been avoiding for a while, this Tower card is telling you you don't get to, like, you're not allowed to avoid this anymore. This is something that needs to be healed. This is something that needs to be brought to your attention. This is something that needs to be worked through, because there's going to be so much. What you get from it in the end is this letting go energies, that purification. You're going to feel so much lighter now. You're going to be shedding the skin of what no longer serves you anymore. And sorry, I thought someone was calling me. Wait one sec. Okay, sorry, no, I thought someone was calling me. But yeah, you're going to be, you're being called to move out of this situation for your highest good. And it's not to make you, it's not for you, how do I want to say that? It's not to put you in a state of stress or overwhelm or anything. It's because it's for your highest good. It's because that inner child in you wants to be healed. Like, it's because these patterns are no longer serving you. And that's what that Tower is about. It's about when something is no longer servicing you, and it's time to make that change. And it's either we've been avoiding that change, or it's just time to make that change. I talked about the Nine of Swords. I read that one. But we have the Eight of Wands here. This is speed, momentum, travel, excitement, and results. And this is telling me that you guys are going to be feeling very excited about the results that you get. You're going to feel very excited about these small moments of growth that you feel. So, you know, there's going to be a lot of, you know, triggers and moments where, you know, this healing journey will feel tough, but there's also going to be a lot of, there's also going to be like a lot of little glimmers in it too. Have you guys ever heard about, like, oh, you have the triggers and you have the glimmers? The glimmers or the triggers are the things that, you know, trigger you of course, but the glimmers are the small things that make you happy, that you notice throughout the day. Like, if you, for your glimmers throughout the day, you know, if someone said hi to you and smiled really nice to you, or smiled really nice at you, like, that's a glimmer. But the glimmer will be these small moments that you have where you're like, oh damn, I handled that totally different than I would have handled it in the past. Like, and you're... Okay guys, my camera cut out. Apparently I have no more storage is what they say. But I think I was talking about glimmers. But yeah, you're gonna be excited with the results that you get with this. So that's what I always think about it. Like, my perseverance is like, damn, one day I'm going to be handling situations so different now, where I can barely recognize myself. Like, I'm going to be this mystic, and I can't wait to step in that goddess energy. I am, like, underneath, you know, we are that goddess. This is for men and women, male or female, whatever. It's, you know, just embodying the energy of that mystic, you know, that Pisces energy, that Pisces goddess energy. But we also have the Page of Cups here, and the Page of Cups is about those youthful emotions too. And it's also about sensitivity too, and spirituality. So spiritually, there's going to be a lot of growth spiritually here, because you're clearing out these old blockages, and you're clearing out old energy and making room for new energy. And there's just going to be a lot of spiritual growth there too, but there's going to be a lot of emotional growth here too. And I think you're going to be feeling freer to step into that inner child energy again, because the emotions of the inner child are going to, you know, your inner child will be able to react differently now. You'll be able to reparent that inner child and experience the youthful energy of that youthful, or experience the youthful energy of your inner child. And you know, have these new experiences that your inner child is able to react differently now too because of that reparenting. I want to share this quick little dream that I had not too long ago. This was last month. I think I had this dream, and every time I did a reading with Goddess Hekate, she was telling me like, girl, time to heal. She would throw that shadow work card out at me every time, and I'd be like, oh, I'll get to it, I'll get to it. And one day I had a dream, and I'm that type of person. Like, I love that spiritually evolving. I love trying to better myself, yet I wasn't trying to heal my inner child. So how much do I really love to better myself? I was trying to avoid it. I was in that Five of Wands energy, that reverse Five of Wands energy. I was trying to avoid that conflict with myself. But I had this dream where I was in my old middle school. And so it was me, like me at my age now, I was looking for middle school me. And so 5-year-old me came running up to me. She was hugging my leg, but I was so set on looking for another version of me that I told like 5-year-old me, I was like, no, 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 go, not now, not now. And I kind of shooed her away. And I started looking for middle school me. And so as I'm walking through the halls, at some point something clicked, because I was like, damn, I can't find, you know, middle school me. Something clicked in my head, and I was like, oh my gosh, wait, I'm not even here to find middle school me. And the place turned into the middle school, turned from the middle school to the elementary school. And I was like, no, I was supposed to be with my, you know, the younger me, my inner child. And I was like, oh my gosh, I just shoot her off. And so like there was like I was in a state of panic for a second. I was like, oh my gosh, like where did she go? Like I just shoot her off. I totally ignored her. And there was a teacher in the hall, and she was like, huh, you realized finally, huh? And I was like, no, where did she go? I gotta go find her. And so I don't know if you guys are into human design, but I'm a generator. And in my human design chart, my place of comfort is our caves. So being in more enclosed environments make me feel more safe and make me feel more comfortable. And in my dream, I was like, okay, so I'm a generator. That means she's in an area where she's up high, but she's enclosed. Like she feels like she's safe at every angle. And so I was like, okay, so where is she? Where could she be? And so I was starting to check, like, you know, I don't know if they still have these desks now, like in elementary schools and middle schools and, you know, high schools, whatever. For the teacher's desk, there was like on their side where their chair is, there's that big there's a big area beneath it. Like you can't see or from this side of the desk, you can't see what's on this side, but there's that big inner space. And I was like, so I was checking under desks, like under the teacher's desk in her, to see if she was like in there. And I was like, oh my gosh, like I'm not gonna be able to find her. I was like, I know she's going to be in a space where she's up high and feeling enclosed. And so I went into the last room, and I was like, oh my gosh, like where is she? I just want to find her and apologize. And so I there was, in the last room that I checked behind the desk, and I was like, damn, I cannot find her. But there was a treehouse in that classroom. Weirdly enough, there was a treehouse in there. And I was like, I called, like I just looked up there. I was like, that's where she is. And I was like, Kaya, like, can you come down, please? Like, I'm so sorry that I shooed you off. Like, I was just like, I felt so bad. And she like just hopped down, and I was holding her. I was like crying, and I was like, I am so sorry. Okay, I am so sorry. And you know, as I'm holding her crying, she's like, we're okay, can we go play now? And I was like, okay. I was like, okay, let's go play now. But yeah, that was a quick story. Hope you guys enjoyed. But yeah, that was a wild dream that I had. So yeah, and that's what kind of pushed me. Like I was pushed into my healing journey because I was trying to avoid it. But yeah. And then lastly, we have this 2 coins, and it's about choice too. It's about 2 coins is about choice and about balance too. And it's your choice. It's your choice to, you know, accept this Tower moment, and it's your choice to want to heal these parts of yourself. And it's also, Two of Coins is also about flexibility too. And that's when I'm thinking about the flexibility, I'm thinking back to this compassion card. And what do I want to say on that? I think it's about being flexible in the aspect of, there's not going to be that immediate change, Yeah, so be a little bit flexible with yourself, because this is a huge change. I want to read the two. Do I want to read the Two of Coins card? Let's read it. Oops. Oh, okay. Let's read it. The Two of Coins represents the skill needed to balance opposing forces in life. The bear world and the human world collide for her. She embodies the dualities of work and family, hobbies and careers, and wants versus needs. And there's going to be a lot of wants to go back to this familiar patterns, and there's going to be a lot of wants to go back to that root conditioning because it feels familiar and it feels safe, once there's triggers happening, the ego and the inner child wants to run back to what feels safe for them. And it's not to hurt you in any way or to hold you back in life. It's because it's them trying to keep you safe. But it's also about, okay, sorry. I don't know. I thought my dad was talking to me, but he's just talking really loud on the phone. So what was I saying? Yeah, it's about, okay, because there's going to be those wants to go back to those familiar patterns and everything. And but you got to go with what you need instead of what you want. The want will be to go back, but your body really needs to be moving forward. It needs this that tower moment is, your subconscious telling you, like, hey, no, we need to move, we need a change in something because this isn't working anymore. So detaching, yeah, letting go and detaching of those wants, and going and seeking what your body needs instead, because we have the secret card. And I'm not saying to just go cold turkey and just cut off all these ways of healing that you had. For me, like my maladaptive daydreaming, I had to, there's a lot of like talking to yourself and reassuring yourself that you have to do. And there's a video that I'm going to post down below if I can find it. And it helped me a lot with my healing journey, just healing in general, because, if you have maladaptive daydreaming, you don't have to cut it off cold turkey. Like, I'm a INFP, like, I love being in my dream world. Like, I'm a Pisces moon, I love my dream world. But it's about having balance, this set Two of Coins energy. Setting that balance with yourself. And you can go from, maladaptive daydreaming for the whole day and instead just, setting aside a certain part of your morning to allow your daydreams to play out, or setting aside some time at night to allow your daydreams to play out, or setting aside time to whatever ways of coping that you had. But then also, this is about, this Ace of Swords is about new projects and like a new journey that you're going on. And it's about finding more healthier coping mechanisms now. If you are dealing with the fear of abandonment, it can feel very important, or it can be very important for you guys to find different hobbies that make you feel that make you feel whole. And like, I don't know, maybe you guys like to write, maybe you guys like to journal or something. Like finding healthier coping mechanisms for yourself. Having a journal maybe will help you guys. Or if you're in that energy of not feeling like you can trust your intuition yet and trust your emotions, having a journal every day, or trying to journal every day, or when you need it, will be very helpful to you too. Writing your emotions down. Like I used to title, like my journal that I have, when I was feeling really heavy emotions, I would title my that journal entry with whatever emotion that I was feeling, and I would just write like intuitively. I would just write rawly, and I would try my best not to judge myself and judge the emotions that I was letting out. That journal is a safe space for me and my emotions, and it's not a place where I can judge, or I can show up as a judgmental character, um or anything like that. Like, and then after I would read, like a couple days ago I was reading through this journal, and I was like, damn, I was I was going through it, like. But yeah, I think that's a good place to start too, having a journal, and writing down the heavy emotions that you feel, writing down when you want to go back to these um maybe unhealthier coping mechanisms, and writing down in what ways can I find some new healthier coping mechanisms. I mean, at least, I mean, journaling itself would be a healthier coping mechanism, for the times where I felt angry. And I think it's also about knowing what type of person that you are, because there are some people that when they're feeling heavy emotions, like when they're feeling angry, they're the type of person, the type of person that will lash out on you. It's the type of person that needs to speak to get their emotions across. And so if you're the type of person that needs to speak to get your emotions out there, but you don't want to lash out on somebody anymore, start doing voice memos on your phone. I have a whole bunch of voice memos on my phone about when I was feeling mad as hell, when I was pissed off, and I didn't want to put it on that other person, because I was like, that, you know, they don't deserve that. This is me speaking. This is my, like, the reaction out, like the reaction part of me that wants to just let it out. I would get a voice memo and I would just let it out, and I would make it raw, and that's just going to be that. Or if you're a type of person that, doesn't like conflict face to face, but you might want to text it to a person, journal it. All right. You got to know what type of person that you are. If you're the type of person that, when you're triggered, you lash out on somebody, that just means you're communicative. You like to communicate. All right. You need to make sure people hear your point, and that's okay. But before you let people hear your point, um, and you're having a hard time getting to that reflective space, you can be reactive, but be reactive on a voice memo. Be reactive in a way to where you're not lashing out on somebody else, because I mean, at least for me, when I was lashing out like that, I was lashing out of my ego. Like, it was me not feeling heard, so I'm about to come at you like this. And so, that's when I started doing voice memos. And it's so funny to like listen to those voice memos now and be like, damn. Imagine if I had said this to that person. It would probably make me feel good temporarily, but I probably feel guilty about it later, and that wouldn't help me. Like, so yeah, finding healthier coping mechanisms. I will try to find all the videos that really, really, really help me. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this reading from Goddess Hekate. Thank you, Goddess Hekate, for joining us throughout this reading, providing such spiritual insight and ways of growing. But yeah, I wish you guys love and light on this journey. I know it is not an easy one, but on the times where it's feeling hard, ask your guides for help, ask your angels for help, ask, a friend for help, ask, sit and be reflective, sit in that inner world, journal, do a voice memo, scream into a pillow, cry, let the tears fall out. Crying is such an emotional release, and it helps release all those trapped emotions, and it allows for healing too. So don't be afraid to cry. Yeah, I wish you guys love and light. I wish you guys the absolute best. Enjoy your weekend. Do something that you love. share your love and light, live in love and light, and yeah, be at peace, man. Find your own peace. And yeah, I wish you guys the absolute best. Enjoy. Thank you so much for watching and being present with me. I am so grateful. Thank you so much. Bye, guys. Thank you.